What's up, guys?
Welcome to the video. Welcome JP along, the coach, the handler on the day. So this video is all about the IPF World Champs recently held in Texas, and we're just going to go over some of the, well, basically what happened on the day, so you guys can have a more informed opinion, and let's get straight into it. So first off, let's address what happens before the event. So as you guys may know, leading into the event, we finished with a top double at 285 kilo on the squat, doubles with 200 kilo on the bench press, and I think it was a single with 305 on the deadlift. So training had gone relatively well. It was a little bit heavier than the last build up to the Arnold's. I was feeling really good. So no complaints with training at all really. Anything you want to add from that, being the coach of training?
Training went really well. Like, you hit triples on the squat for a PR, 275 for some repeat triples. The 285 squat doubles were a PR, which is equal to your comp best, 285, which was the world record prior to the start of the event.
Yeah.
So 285 was the world record, which you doubled in training. Bench doubles at 200, like you said, single at 305, which was super fast. So training had gone really well. I mean, you had a little bit of a back issue, but other than that, coming in, you're pretty fresh.
Yeah, so I think everything, all in all, everything was feeling really good. Now leading into the event, I travelled to Texas on Wednesday.
Might have been Wednesday night you landed, 6 p.m. I think? Or was it Thursday night?
Yeah, Wednesday night I got into Texas, so I was lifting on Saturday afternoon. So I had plenty of time to get there, recover, get some quality rest time after some 2 flights. So just want to address the first thing. So obviously I'm lifting the 83 kilo class. Now my body weight was too low in my opinion, like looking back at it. So I was lifting, like 84, 85 kilo in the gym most of the time, and it wasn't really planned like that. It's just sort of what had happened. I guess I should have been eating more. I was maybe a little bit too cautious with my body weight. Now I look back on the last time that I was a lot heavier going into Perth, cutting that weight faster, I had a lot better performance. That's when I first broke 800 kilo. Went 9 from 9. So I think this time that was one of the areas we're going to look at moving forward, is I need to bring that body weight up higher and cut a bit harder as opposed to, I was underweight probably 2 days before really, wasn't I? 2 days before.
Too skinny, bro. Yeah,
too skinny. So I should have been heavier, cut harder. We all know that more body weight, you're going to lift more weight as well. So that's the first thing I wanted to address. So body weight was a bit low. I weighed in at 82.58 on the day.
You had breakfast that day?
Yeah, I was eating before it, like nothing too major. Like I guess I had a little bit of nerves, before the day. But yeah, so let's look at the actual event itself. So I think we started lifting at 2 p.m. Was it 2 p.m?
Weigh-ins might have been at 2. Oh,
yeah.
No, you're right, no.
No, sorry, no.
Afternoon session, yeah. So weigh-ins was in the morning, or like midday-ish.
Yeah. So weigh-in was at 2, started lifting at 4, which was perfect. If we look at my local time where I train, that's 6 p.m, which is when I'm normally going to the gym anyway, so there's no time zone difference, no problems with that. That was perfect. But let's look at the warm-up. So let's get with the squat. We had a plan for the day. We wanted to go around that 295 to 305 mark. That was the planned attempt, or the planned third attempt for the day, depending on what my competition was doing at the time.
Yeah, so for coming into the event, it's for those that are watching who obviously compete and train in powerlifting. You need to understand, I think the major difference is that when you're in an event like a championships or a world, obviously a world championships or a national championships, any kind of competitive event, the biggest priority is winning. You want to win the day.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you compete at a local event, it's quite simple. You just go, well, this is going to be my opener, this is going to be my second, this is going to be my third. Let's hit these numbers, hit a PB, we'll be happy with that. So obviously coming into the event, we have that kind of attitude a little bit. We have a plan. We had planned ideas on openers, seconds and thirds, but very flexible based on what the competition was doing and what was happening, I guess, on the day. And so I think the planned opener that we spoke about was about 282.5.
Yeah.
And you doubled 285 in the gym, so I think that was a safe opener.
Yeah.
And PB is 300.
Yeah.
Warm-ups went really well.
Yep. So this is going to be 250 kilo. You're probably watching right now. Everything felt really good. So I was very happy with that. I think depth, everything, speed, bar speed, 250 kilo was pretty good for me. So I was feeling pretty confident. with that. So we opened up with 277 kilo, which was I think 5 kilo above my the next opponent. So went out there 277. I actually didn't even know what was on the bar. JP chose the weight. I didn't know what was on the bar. I didn't care. I was just going out to squat it. I knew it was going to be over 275 kilo. Walked it out. Squat felt fine. I felt a little bit lost, to be honest though. Like I was sort of looking around. I didn't really have a place to really look at in the room. I was just looking, I guess, directly at an audience. I didn't feel as comfortable as I needed to be, I think, to be really firing. But nevertheless, the first squat still moved well, so we decided to go with 285 on the second attempt.
So the 285 being the, so like as I said, the planned opener was 282.5, but Brett was at the last lifter of the round anyway, so there's no need to open any heavier than we had to. So we dropped the opener down to 277.5, which still meant he was the last lifter in the group. And before I put in the second attempt, we looked at what the next attempts were from the previous lifters. So the biggest second attempt was 285. So we went 285 to match, which would still have Brett as the last lifter because he had the later lot number. So 285 was the lowest attempt that I was happy to take. So that's what we took.
Yeah. So I went out with 285. Felt okay on the bag. Nothing super strenuous or anything like that. Went down, was coming up, I felt a bit heavy, got a bit slow, and I'm just no idea what happened at the top. I just sort of had a bit of wobble, I guess, like my hips coming through, got a bit shaky, the knees got a bit shaky. Still locked it out. I managed to actually stand with my knees like fully locked, everything was fine, got the rack call, but unfortunately I got only one white, so 2 reds, and I believe it was for the bar itself moving down. Now when we look at the bar moving down, you've got to look at the centre of the bar itself. It was a pretty tough call, it could have gone either way. We did argue with the jury, but unfortunately there was no overturn. So we left it at that. Walked back out, JP had seen the next attempt. So
again, from a kind of coaching point of view, I guess the strategy was that, well, Brett was the last lifter, 285 matched the USA's attempt. So we looked at the attempts of the next lifter who jumped from 285 to 298, which is an effective 15 kilo jump, although it's only 13.0, it's actually 15 kilo effective jump because you have to take increments, but that was a world record attempt. So, and based on that guy's second attempt, it was really strong, and I thought, you know, Brett's got the strength, like you just stood up with 285, what's an extra 1% on the attempt? 3 kilo jump, which is an effective 5 kilo jump. So I'm like, I'm willing to take an extra 3 kilos for a potential 5 kilos. So we put in 288.0 kilos, which would have had us 10 kilos behind.
Yeah, so I went out with 288. I guess I lost a bit of confidence, the pressure was on, and just couldn't do it, man. It was just being a shit cunt, couldn't squat it. So that left me with only one squat. Meanwhile, so I was, how far was I behind there? 20 kilo behind?
20.5. So it's a 20.5 kilo difference, and this is where you need to understand that if Brett outlifts by 20 kilos and across the next 2 lifts, he'd still lose. So he really needs to outlift by 22.5, because that's the next increment that you can take, which is the reason that USA went with that 0.5 kilo increment.
Yeah. So let's move on to that. So obviously a bit behind at this stage. Warm-ups, everything, bench felt great. That's all pretty standard stuff. Went out with my opening attempt at 190 kilo, which was probably second to last, I believe it was.
Yeah, after Hubbard.
Yep, so Owen Hubbard I think was in front of me. So I went out, I beat the press call, I just brought it to my chest, and he went to say press, but he was like, press, like that. So like as soon as I heard something come out of his mouth, that's the reason I pressed it. Now you guys obviously won't hear that in the video, you can't hear it in the video because I guess you need to be a lot closer. If you had a microphone on, you guys would know what I'm talking about. So I was pretty angry about that. Like,
it was obviously very frustrating, like, only getting one squat and then coming out missing an opening bench. Like, it's kind of like, what else is going to go wrong? Like, it was getting really frustrating.
So I mean, the weight moved fine. There was no problem with that. There's never really a problem with that weight. But JP decided, to go up to 195 just to match what USA had done already. So he was at 195, so I went up to 195, so I was still behind him, so we could sort of see what was going to happen. So he went out and got his, I went out and got my 195. They jumped up to 200, so we went to 208, which was a good call because we could go that 0.5 increment because it was a new record. So we could crawl back that sort of half kilo increment, and so that means it sets us up for so we can equal him on the total with that 0.5. So that's where that comes in really handy. So it was a big risk, 13 kilo jump on the bench, new PR for me. But to be honest, it moved really, really well. I was happy with it, and we were sort of aiming for 210 to 212 that day, was the plan goal. But at the end of the day, you know, with the missed opener, we sort of didn't really get the chance to, I guess, take advantage of really, really maxing out the bench. So walked away from bench. I was now only 13 kilo behind.
12 and a half.
Sorry, 12 and a half, yeah.
It was a pretty intense period, like the bench press. It's one of those ones where you have to make, we essentially took a gamble, like we rolled the dice. Yeah. 195 bench was good. You have to bench 208, because if you miss, you'll just be too far behind and we lose. Yeah. Like there would have been game over then.
Yeah. So this brings us around to deadlift. So at this stage we were 12 and a half kilo behind. In my opinion, like the opener and the deadlift doesn't really matter at all. It's all about getting the second attempt locked in and then sort of fighting for positions on the third, which is exactly what we had to do. So we went out with 285, which left me in the middle of the pack. So, you know, I was maybe 3 or 4 lifters behind USA, who was opening at 292 and a half. So what we did is I went out, 285 felt really, really, really good. Super fast, good lockout, 3 white lights. So walked away from that feeling really, really confident. We saw that, well, I went to 305 after that.
Yeah.
So basically the reason we did that is from the coaching perspective, it put us back in front from his opener. So USA opened 292 and a half. We went 12 and a half in front of that. I pulled my deadlift on the second.
Which temporarily put you in first place.
Which temporarily put me back into first place, which puts the pressure back on USA to basically mean that they have to get their second deadlift. So USA went to
310. 672, yeah.
Yep, 672. So 310. They went out there, got that pull. So basically we had to go to 327 and a half. And I was the last deadlifter because he had also gone out there again. And he had pulled 315, so I had to go 12 and a half kilo in front of that. Now the beauty of that strategy was...
It's pretty straightforward. So we're 12 and a half kilos down at the start of deadlifts. All you have to do is out deadlift the opponent by 12 and a half kilos. It's pretty straightforward. Brett was a lighter lifter. So, I mean, USA got 310, and initially they put in 317 kilos for their third, which if they got, Brett would have needed 330 kilos. But if they missed, they would have been stuck into 310, and then we only would have needed 322 and a half. So it was really it was just me sitting there waiting for USA's attempt to go through, and whatever happened, and we can just change the third attempt as we did. So, but they changed down to 315, which proved to be a pretty wise decision. USA 3 white lights, they finished on 315 kilos as a deadlift, plus 12 and a half is 327.5 kilo.
Yeah, so went out there 327.5 kilo.
Last lift of the group.
Last lift of the group, last deadlift of the day. I was feeling pretty confident in it. Like I pulled 320 at the Arnold's pretty good. Just missed 330 at lockout on grip, like right at lockout. So I went out there and I just couldn't lock it out. I got it above the knees. It just couldn't quite finish it. So you know, that left me pretty disappointed. You know, 12 and a half kilo. Well, not even that actually. How far behind did I finish in the end?
About 20.
About 22 kilo behind.
Score doesn't do it justice, yeah.
Yeah, so like, I mean, you look at the scoreboard, you look at my total, and that doesn't actually do
the competition.
The competition itself and like the strategy, everything. It doesn't do it justice at all. Like, I know that I've just got to pretty much go back now and back to the drawing board and start putting together some better meets, because the last 2 meets have been both 5 from 9. I've only got 1 squat.
2 benches.
2 benches and 2 deadlifts. So,
2 deadlifts, yeah.
So it's been the same again twice in a row. So I've come back before stronger. I think last time I went 5 from 9 at Worlds last year. I come back straight after that and went 9 from 9 and had a 25 kilo PB. So we'll be looking to do something like that again. But just got to get better prepared for the bigger meets. And I think a lot of it's just the mental side of it as well. So got to get stronger mentally and ready to really battle for gold, for positioning. So yeah, overall a pretty up and down day, pretty disappointing day, but I'll be back for sure, you know.
If you've got any questions about what happened during the day, like if you're a little bit confused about what some of the decisions were, I hope we were able to shed some light onto what the rationale was and what was kind of going through our heads as the day went through. But if you're still a little bit confused, ask me some questions, leave some comments in the sections below.
Yeah, and just remember, it's so easy to watch on the internet and say, oh, you should have done that. Hindsight's such a beautiful thing, but you know,
obviously,
at the end of the day, if you're in the mix, like people who are not there, you've got no idea what's going through the head on the day of the lifter, no idea at all. So, I mean, I looked at some of the comments on the last video, and